I'd like to hear that story.
Well, you know, at one point in the earlier days, I guess, we were issued with a wool sweater, and I can remember it was the very best of wool, and it was greenish in color. It was a British Army issue. I had no socks, of course. By that time, whatever socks I had taken into camp with me were long gone. So I decided that I could sacrifice the sleeves of this sweater. The sweater had been knitted on a machine, and the sleeves were not knitted like Mother used to do with knitting needles. So there was a seam from armpit to wrist. So that had to come out. That of course, when I raveled out the yarn, I was left with pieces 8 or 10 inches long. So I had to splice them as I went. But that came after I discovered how to make knitting needles. So knitting needles, of course, are wire things. And
Where did you get the wire?
well, there was no shortage of wire, but the damn trouble, it was all barbed wire. So I had to get a piece of barbed wire and unroll it and take the barbs out and straighten the wire out. And then I managed to do that and cut up 4 pieces, about 8 inches long, I suppose, or thereabouts, and sharpened them the ends on the cement floor. But that was not all the problem, because the wire was galvanized, and as I unrolled it, it sort of cracked and pieces flaked off and left it with a very rough.
Which
anyway,
leads me to my next question. Did you know how to knit? Or are you are you self-taught?
I'm more or less self-taught, but I could remember watching my mother knit. So I had to start at the top and knit down to the heel and then up to the toe. Well, that was fine. I was able to process it. And the yarn, of course, I didn't have much of it. And I knit down to maybe about 3 or 4 inches till I came to where I should turn a heel. Now, I didn't know how to turn a heel, so that was quite a problem too, to figure out how to turn a heel. But I overcame that too, and I don't think my mother would have approved of it, but it was a heel anyway. And then I knit the foot and turned off the toe, and I had, after the first sock, the second one went a little better. Anyway, I left them behind me in the prison camp, and I'm sorry I did.
Yeah, I remember reading that you would like to have framed them.
Well, if I had been able to bring them home, and I was able to, but just neglect, I didn't bring them home, I would have put them in a frame, because they were a work of art.